That's not supposed to happen. All right, young scholars. So we are working on Tableau today and next week. Everybody's downloaded Tableau now and hopefully can open it. Yes? No? Still no? And you have a Mac?
No.
Just a regular laptop? Rain, help him out a minute. See what the dealio is.
About
John Yelly, you're good?
Yeah.
It was 28 seconds. Paula? Okay, well, while we're waiting, this is what Tableau should look like when it opens without that little box that says exercises for Tableau, because you didn't open it yet. So as you probably heard Anthony shout about, oh, why are there so many columns? Remember last week or 2 weeks ago, we did SQL, where we do queries kind of quickly, you know, how they do in the real world, sort of, kind of, because it was just on a SQL compiler. So let's say Amy wants to make a chart in PowerPoint with a nice little pie chart. You know, 67% of the class hates Professor Marino, 33% likes it. It's just, you know, simple pieces of data, right? Nice little simple pie chart. When you have a lot of data, like all this nice fun data inside that Excel file you downloaded and maybe opened and looked at like Anthony, in order to visually represent it and find the information you want, you might want to use Tableau because it'll show you a nice little chart. You could have column chart, line chart, pie graph, whatever specifically you might want to use in order to get information. So say you wanted to make a pie chart on what companies had what percentage of sales in euros, you could do that. But over the course of today's class, we're going to do 12 queries or reports, as they're commonly called in Tableau. Just like we've done with SQL and our PAL access. Why is this not showing anything? Rohan, I'm going to add you on this Teams. Tell me if anything is being seen. Okay, so that file I just showed you in Excel is the Tableau import file here. What we're going to do is go through the 12.
I can see the screen.
Okay, perfect. Leave so we don't have the echo. The 12 reports from the Tableau exercises for 417. So we'll do 12 today, 12 next week, and then the extra credit, there'll be 3 different choices. You could do 1 with 2 parts, 1 with 2 parts, or 2 with 1 part each for your 100 points. And you'll literally see when you open this, there'll be an image there that basically shows you what you need to do. So when I call on you, read this little top part of what the query basically is asking us to do. And then I'll say, oh, what goes in the columns? You'll tell me what's there. Oh, what goes in the rows? You tell me what goes there. If there's something in the filters, you'll tell me what goes there. So I'll probably call on 12 different people to do each report. Simple, fair enough. All right, Amy, we said you were going to do the first one. Take it away, young scholar.
So we're doing the full revenue
revenue in 2010. We're gonna display using a chart. Total sales revenue.
Okay. So since I'm stupid and jumped ahead of myself, we have to do something before we can even start these reports. Deb, can you see from back there? Okay, so we have an Excel file with information and data in it. From this column that says connect, search for data, Tableau server, Microsoft Excel, text file, JSON file, Microsoft Access, PDF file, spatial file, statistical file, more, or to a server. Which one do you think we're going to use? Excel file. That's all I gave you, right? So click on Microsoft Excel. And then wherever you downloaded your file, click on it and select Open. Might take a few seconds to load. Then you'll see a screen like this. And you'll notice back in the Excel file, the worksheet is called single sheet. So when you're in Tableau, double click on single sheet, and down the bottom here where it says sheet 1, there'll be like a little weird orange color to it. Like so. And then double click sheet 1 to open. And you'll see all of the column headers on the left-hand side. Stanley, you good? Dan, good? Which part? So on the left-hand side here, it'll say single sheet. Double click that. And then click on sheet 1 down the bottom here. And then all this column headers on the left show up. Brand? Might take a couple seconds to load. It might say time elapsed 3 seconds and then disappear. Rain, good?
I'll figure it out.
Okay. You want to just look on with her while we're going through the reports?
Yeah, I can just look at that.
Okay. No good for yours either? That's what comes up? Double click sheet 1. Good. Paula, you all downloaded? And you're caught up now? Okay. Who else was still downloaded? John Yelly? Are you somewhat caught up?
I open it, I don't have any.
You open it, you don't have any tables?
Yeah, so like, I'm on the same thing, so like. All the.
Why not? They taken right from the Excel file.
I don't put it in the Excel file. Okay.
If you did it twice, it'll say like single sheet 1, and there should be an option to click a caret and select remove. Or you can just exit out of it and do that quickly again.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. All right, Amy, remind us what you said 5 minutes ago.
Display using a column chart for total sales revenue, US dollars.
Okay, so what goes in columns?
Here.
All right, so on the left-hand side, scroll down a little bit, about halfway. you'll see the option for year. Drag that up to columns, like so. You got it? What did you have to do, Anthony, to get everything to show up?
You just didn't hit sheet 1 at the bottom.
Okay. Did you hit sheet 1 down the bottom? And nothing's coming up at all? Did you double click single sheet before you clicked sheet 1? All right, Amy, what goes in rows?
Some revenue.
All right, so scroll down toward the bottom. Revenue USD is revenue US dollars. Drag that up to rows. By default, it'll show you sum. Next week, I'll show you how you could change it if you need to do average or anything else. And I wanted a column chart, right, Amy?
Mhm.
So what would I have to change, Rohan, to make it a column? Marks, yep. So where it says marks, automatic, since it says column, select bar from the drop down.
I really like this one.
Are you serious or joking?
No, I'm serious.
Okay. Well, thankfully, after 4 years, I was finally able to convince them to let me teach them.
It's actually very convenient.
Well, sometimes people might think a comment like that is sarcastic.
No.
So when you change it to bar, it goes from a line graph to a bar graph. Now, what year did it want, Amy?
2010.
2010. So see how year is in filters on the little image of this? How do we get that?
Can you repeat that?
We need a filter to just show 2010. So see how on the picture, it has year 2010 under filters? In the Word file here, or report 2?
We drag the years into this.
We can do that, yep. So go back and select year from the list and drag that onto filters. And now what do we do, Anthony, since you knew that?
Put both of the checkbox 2010.
Yep. Since Amy told us we just want the total revenue in US dollars in 2010, we do 2010 to 2010. Make sense?
Click apply or okay?
We click apply, and then we click OK. And what if I want to know the amount that is? I would go to Analysis, Show Mark Labels. So we made 48 million plus in 2010. Not bad, huh?
Cover over it, shows. Like the bar.
I know, but this is to keep it steady, and it's always there. Analysis, Show Mark Labels. There's no mark in this class, unlike last semester. Okay, so we did report 2. Steven? not showing up for you at the end. Click the Show Me button to get rid of that. And then where it says marks, change it to bar. All right, so we're going to save this as R2 for report 2. So down here where it says sheet 1, right click it, select rename. And R2, like when you renamed a worksheet in Excel. Good. So again, right click that, select rename, change it to R2. Rohan's favorite character in a movie, right? R2D2. Who wants to do report 3, which is page 2? No volunteers? I guess I got to call on somebody. First, see this little button right next to R2 where it says new worksheet? Click on that to create a sheet 2. Christina, do you think you want to do this? All right, report 3, tell us what we need to do. Okay, read the next line too. Okay. So what goes in the column section? All right, so we need to scroll up all the way toward the top for customer name. We drop that in columns. Apparently there's a lot of customers, so that took a minute. And then what goes in rows? So revenue in US dollars is down the bottom again. We pull that into rows, and again, by default, it's the sum. It wants us to use a column chart. It did that automatically, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Okay. One step at a time, man. One step at a time. All right, Christina, now what? Okay, so we scroll back up a little. We pull year into our filters section, and it wanted 2008. So we do 2008 to 2008. See, Anthony? We'll get there eventually. We'll give you the next report to do. Since you like this and seem to already be on board with it. And then apply and okay. But as Christina told us, we only care about the customers that purchased over $5 million. So what's the other filter we need? Anthony again. Look at the pictures. That's why I give them to you. Okay, can you see this? What is the second filter? Damn it, Paulie. You don't have the Word file open either?
Revenue USD.
So we pull revenue USD in a filters. Or we could do it the simpler way. There's a caret next to it in rows. And it gives you this giant long drop down. Just select filter from it. And since we only care about more than 5 million, do we want a range, at least, at most, or special? Anthony's going to dominate the next 2 weeks here. So at least, and then instead of 272, whatever's in there, put 5 million. So 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 6 zeros. Vanessa, you didn't have an issue downloading? And then apply an OK, and how many come up, Anthony? One. Just one again. We have Rocky Mountain Bikes with 5,770,694. I told you, he's going to dominate the next 2 weeks. So we can show the number by analysis, show marked label. That number I just read off to you pops up. So since this is report 3, what do you think we're going to save it as, Christina? Very good. Right-click sheet 2, rename R3. Then click the button next to it to add a new worksheet. And Paulie's going to do report 5. No, Anthony's going to do report 5. Paulie can do report 6. Well, 4 is not one of the ones I gave you because it's well beyond what you guys need to know. Because that gets into tables and all screwy querying. So let's see, we'll do 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So see how there's a couple that are knocked off there?
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, tell us what we need to do for report 5.
Year, with money and materials, using contract.
Okay, so what goes in the column section? What goes in the column section? Year, very good. So we drag year over into columns. What goes in the rows? All right, so scroll up. You'll see there's material master and material group. Make sure you take material master and put it in rows, not group. One that says material master. And then what's the other thing that goes in rows? All right, scroll down a little. Select quantity and drag it into rows. And by default, it gives you the sum. But it said it wanted a certain kind of chart, right? By default, Tableau made it a line chart. What chart do we need to make it? Works for me. So drop down from automatic and make it a bar chart. But now what? What's missing?
The quantity inside the mark.
Quantity goes in marks. Is that it? We hit the caret and we hit filter. And then what?
You said all years, right?
Yeah. So we don't need to filter it. What's the last thing we gotta do that you love shouting out?
Oh, I already did it, that's why you got one thing.
Okay. Analysis and show mark labels. So it tells us literally every quantity we've sold for each thing. So the air pumps is kind of pretty steady between like 2,700 and 4,600. Deluxe touring bikes are pretty steady, et cetera, et cetera. Quantity under marked. So I just grab quantity from the list again and then just drag it in there, just like we do with columns and rows. All right, Anthony, what are we going to name this? He's on a roll. Everybody's going to be DMing you later. So right click, rename R5. You know what? They'll definitely be DMing you for help with the extra credit.
Oh,
Are you going to do the extra credit? Yeah. As long as you don't say that, say Tableau, so they know what you're talking about. All right, so click that plus again, so we have a new sheet. And Paulie's gonna walk us through report 6.
and display using a chart, revenue, years,
Read the whole thing.
report 6, annual revenue trend in the US and Europe. US journey, annual revenue. Display using a line chart for revenue years, acquired by each year. US and Europe. Compare both results, right, and keywords, whether the results were.
So you guys don't have to write in a few words. Paulie's just gonna tell us what the trend lines look like. So everybody knows what USD stands for, right? US dollars. All right, Paulie, what goes in columns? All right, so scroll up a little and drop year into columns. What goes in row? Okay, so scroll all the way up. You'll see there's a little caret or less than sign next to country, state, city. Click on that so it breaks them out. So you see country, state, city. And which one do we need, Paulie? Okay, so drag country into rows. And then what was the other one?
Revenue years.
Okay, so we got to scroll all the way down to the bottom. Revenue USD and plop that in rows. Okay, so ask your pal Anthony to help you with what should be here.
Show mark.
Yeah, very good. So analysis, show mark labels so we see the numbers. So the top one is revenue in US dollars in Germany. The bottom one is revenue in US dollars here in the US. So answer that question there, Paulie. Are the results similar or not, and why?
Yeah, they're very similar.
Everybody sees why? They're basically the same. They spike up in 2012, spike down in 2013. Anybody know why? I asked the other class and they didn't know why. What happened in 2012 or was supposed to happen in 2012? Yeah, the Mayan calendar predicted the world was going to end. So a lot of people spent a lot of money, bought houses they couldn't afford, and it didn't happen. I mean, It just didn't happen. Now, what's the other thing you should notice with this? Paulie, how many currencies are here in the US? How many are in Germany? 2, yeah. They also accept the euro. What about in England? No more euro? What'd you say? Rupees? That's India. All right, what do we name this one, Paulie?
R6.
Very good. Name R6. Anthony's pissed off. There's no exam with this. Could you imagine how good he'd do on that? He'd be done in 5 minutes.
I do good on everything.
Yeah, but you seem so engaged and excited about this. Click the plus again, so we have a new worksheet. And who wants to do report 7? Stephen, you want to do report 7? Okay, read the first couple lines first. Awesome. All right, so what goes in the columns? Yep. So scroll up a little, drag year over to columns. What goes in rows? Yep. Scroll up a little more. Make sure it's material master, not material group. And then what's the other thing that goes in rows? Yep. So scroll all the way back down to the dollar, bottom there. Revenue USD. By default, it's sum. Anthony, what do we need to show? Analysis, show mark labels, so we know the monies. All right, so we're asked to see if any dramatic changes occur. So for the air pumps, Amy, any dramatic changes across that line? Nope, pretty steady all across those 8 years. Yeah. If you click the show me button, see right here, there's 3 different options for candlesticks. I just made Anthony's life. What about deluxe touring? The second, the black and red different ones. Do we see any differences in the trends? Stanley? In the second and third and fourth lines, do you see any differences? Yeah, 2012, it goes up a little, then 2013 takes a big dip. Everybody bought a bike because they thought the world was going to end, and then it didn't, so sales kind of went down. And if you scroll down on the chart there, you'll see with all the different things they could purchase, for the most part, they're either steady, just a straight line, or they all had a spike in 2012 with a dip in 2013. Was that so hard, Stephen? No? All right, it was report 7. So what are we going to call it? Yep. Click sheet 5, right click, rename, R7. Who wants to do report 8? Fran, you think you're up for it? All right, tell us what we need to find. Camille, what is seasonality? Oh, that's right, he's not here. Unique, what does seasonality mean? These are the seasons turned. Yeah, what are they? Autumn? Yeah, and they're each kind of represented by months, right? Like we're in what right now? Spring, March 20th to June 20th or 21st. Then summer starts, then fall starts, then winter starts, right? All right. So what goes in columns? Very good. Scroll up a little. Drag month over to columns. What goes in rows? All right, make sure you pull over material master description, not material group. And what else? Yep, scroll down to the bottom and drag in revenue USD. And let's have Anthony remind us what we need to do. Analysis, show mark labels, so we see our numbers. So, are there any of these sales that seem to show an increase during certain seasons? Amy, air pumps, any seasonality changes?
No.
No, pretty much just a straight line. Savion, what about the bikes? Any changes in seasons?
Oh, yeah.
It looks like in the spring and for some reason in October, there's little spikes, right? What about elbow pads? Rena, any change in elbow pads? Nope, pretty consistent all the way across, right? Same thing for first aid kits and knee pads. The men's off-road bikes. What do you see there, Rohan?
Down.
In February, it dips for some reason. And then later in the summer, it dips for some reason. Wouldn't you think that was the time you'd want to go off-roading, get dirty? No? I guess none of you off-road. What about off-road helmets? Nice little straight line, not much change there. And then the rest of them are pretty much the same as the second and third one. Little spike in the spring and October for some reason. And then the rest there are basically static. All right, Fran, what do we call this one? It was report 8. Right click sheet 6, rename R8. And we're halfway home. Who wants to do report 9? Catherine, you want to do report 9? All right. Okay. So what goes in columns? All right. So scroll up a little and drop month into columns. What goes in rows? Okay, so scroll down a little. Drag quantity over to rows. And again, by default, it's sum. And now what? Okay, scroll back up to the top. Drag country into filters. And just click the box for United States. Right? It just wants US. So then apply and OK. And it only gives us the info for the US. And what else, Catherine? So we drag over material group description into filters. And it says finished bikes or safety gear. If we want to find the seasonality trend and number of bikes sold monthly, obviously we just need finished bikes. Safety gear isn't a bike, right? It's the knee pads, the elbow pads, the first aid kit. Apply and OK. And then what, Anthony? Analysis, show mark labels. And do we see any spikes in the seasons? Where do we see a spike, Catherine? Yep. So 3 and 4, which is March and April, and 10, which is October. And it kind of goes down during the summer because, I don't know, maybe people don't like to bike in the summer. It might be too hot for them. So this was report 9. So what do we call this sheet? I click, rename, R9. Paulie, do you agree? Is it too hot in the summer to bike? No? Why not? Yeah? Is that what you do to stay fit? Not a bike? What do you do to stay fit? Go to the gym. What did he say? Play some racquetball? Don't make fun of him. I mean, they won the, what was it, Big East tournament? I know. And you're like making a joke of it. Like, he probably won like a prize or something. Yeah. Are you also Camille's #1 supporter? No? That's Michael, right? You're Camille's #1 supporter? Michael's not here either. He always sat next to him. Who wants to do report 11 now? Nobody? Ryan, take this one. What? Don't read the little paragraph first.
Which year has been the highest
Okay, now tell us the columns and rows. Okay, scroll down a little. Columns year, and what's in rows? Sum of what? All right, scroll all the way to the bottom, drop revenue USD into the rows. And now what? So we currently have a line, we change automatic to bar. So we get a bar. Now what do we need to do, Anthony? Analysis, show mark labels. And which one is the highest, Brian? 2012, everybody sees that, right? 2012 is 72 million plus. So that was report 11. What do we name it? Right click sheet 8, rename. R11. Rain, that'll make me be laughing the rest of the day. So he can like see your messages now, or he's just like a follower like on the outside? Like, aren't there two different Snapchat things? Yeah, isn't there like, so it's private and public, the two different ways? You don't really know him, but he's adding you on Snapchat, but you just didn't want to reroute. Are you gonna block him? What if you're in another class with him? You're gonna pray that he drops? And who else said that he DM'd? Oh, Naya said last semester. Were you in a class with him last semester? So apparently he just picks one random female young scholar that he's in a class with and adds them on social media and changes the social media from semester to semester. So if Vanessa's in a class with him next semester, what social media you got? Nothing else? Well, it was Snapchat this semester, so he may go back to Instagram next semester. So if you're in a class with him, you know what to do. Drop, switch into some other section. Who wants to do report 12 that hasn't gone yet? Melanie, you want to do report 12? No, why not? Your computer's about to die? Do you have a plug? Steven wants to go again? I might have an answer. What? I certainly can. Yep. In the Word document, it's highest and then goes down, but that's fine like this. Are you sure? Rain's gonna do 12 then. You did this already? So drag material master description into columns. And also into filters. Good. But let's put revenue in rows first. All right, revenue US dollars in rows. And then go back and put material master. Yeah. So click on top, by field, top one. And since you put revenue in rows, it's auto there. First, we have to do apply and OK. And then we could do analysis, show mark labels, Anthony's favorite. And which one is it? Yep, you scroll over, professional touring bike in red with over $54 million in revenue. And since that was report 12, what do we save it as? Rename R12. And we only have 3 left, Rohan. So exciting, isn't it? Anybody wants to get out of here and eat dinner or whatever? Karina, what are you gonna get out of here and do? Dinner? What time? Plenty of time to eat dinner before 8. Anthony?
What's your opinion on
It's better than Monmouth's. Oh, I drove to Monmouth to teach at Monmouth. So I technically went there. Not as good as Stockton's. And they've only improved. They got a Chick-fil-A.
I'd rather have
I never cared, like Monmouth has Jersey Mike's too, but I lived in Point Pleasant for 20 years. I could walk to 3 different Jersey Mike's. So that was never a selling point for me. Catherine's sister knows. Monmouth University's student center is literally just like living in Point Pleasant. Jersey Mike's, fake Bubba a pizzeria, a Dunkin' Donuts. It's just like home. You're more of a Belmar guy? What do you do in Belmar? Is it the Jersey Shore house? Oh no, that's Seaside. What's your favorite town? Long Branch? You ever go to Monmouth? Once? Never gone back? Why? Were you the one running around with a curling iron a couple weeks ago? No. That shut the campus down for like 5 hours? Haven't taught there since 2019, but I still get the text messages from their little alert system. Was that your sister, Catherine?
No.
Running around with the curling iron so they canceled classes the next day to like noon? I think they're back in class today. Where are we? Report 13? Karina, have you done one? You want to do this one?
Oh, hi, it's not happening yet.
Okay, okay. Yep. Profit margin. EUR for euro.
And you're gonna put your income.
Okay. Scroll all the way back to the top, country in the filters. And click the box next to Germany.
And then you're gonna put your.
What do we have to do first? Well, technically 2 things first. One of them is Anthony's favorite thing. Analysis, show mark labels to tell us where our revenues are, or net profit rather. What's the other thing? What does it say? Display using a. So in marks here, automatic, we change it to bar to make it a column chart. And so which one has the highest amount? $2012, right? Little over 8 million. So when we do our year filter here, what do we do? 2012 to 2012. That's our highest amount, right? And apply an OK, and you just get that one column. So that was report 13. So what do we name it, Karina? Yep. Right click, rename, R13. You're right, Amy? But maybe you cut your hand or something.
It's something that,
Oh, your nails?
yeah.
That happened. We got two more. Who wants to do the report 14? Dan, do you want to take a shot? Okay. So what goes in columns? Drag down a little, put year in columns. And what was the other one? Scroll back up a little, drop division description in columns. And then what about the rows? Scroll down at the bottom, drop revenue USD in a rows. By default, it's the sum. All right. So what do we see on my screen? Accessories and bicycles, right? But they're line charts, right? So it wants a column chart. So automatic and bar. But it says which division had the highest revenue? So which division has the highest revenue, accessories or bicycles? So for division description, filter, only have bicycles checked. And if we want the highest net sales, what do we do now? Filter the year. You did this one before, right? You did the same thing. It's that thing you spin on the table. Top by field, top one. Revenue USD. Apply and OK. Then we'll do Anthony's favorite thing. Analysis, show mark labels. All right. So now we know everything except one thing. Eric, what year is the most? What year is the highest revenue? 2012, right? Little over 70 million. So for our year filter, 2012 to 2012. And Dan, I have two more questions for you. What do we name report 14? Very good. Rename R14. When does this Rangers Devils playoff series start? Tomorrow night, 7?
I don't know who got that.
My Devils aren't gonna try. First game I'll watch all season.
We'll go in 1-3. No, we could go in tomorrow.
Are they home tomorrow?
They'll win the first game in MSB and like I was going to go all crazy.
This has been a decent year so far for my sports teams. Niners, you know, Knicks, Devils. Even Garrett Kohler's trying. Knicks and 6. Well, no, they get Josh Hart and all of a sudden they try. It's kind of a, you would think like you get a role player and all right, and last but not least, we have report 15 here. Who hasn't gone? Vanessa, did you go? You want to do report 15? Let other people earn their participation points, right? Go ahead, Vanessa. Okay. Bless you. So scroll up, division description goes in columns. And scroll all the way down to the bottom. Revenue USD goes into, no, not revenue. Is that right? Yeah, revenue's right. Sorry. So we drag year into filters. And it only wants for 2006. So we do 2006 to 2006. Apply, okay. And then what do you think we do for the division description one? It wants the lowest revenue. So what's lower, accessories or bicycles? Yep. So when we drag division description filter in, because accessories is lower than bikes, we only want accessories. Apply, okay. And what are the two last things we gotta do? Yep. Analysis, show mark labels. It's a little over $1 million. And then right click sheet 12 and rename it what? What are we renaming it? R15 for report 15. Is your friend going to be done with her class? Don't you say you get the train with your friend?
Yeah.
Is she going to be done with her class?
Yeah.
So what train can you catch? Not bad, right? What's so funny? You don't like that? Rain seems like she likes it, right? What? You can handle it? She's got that, you know, she's kind of like me. Weird sense of humor. Except you got the excuse you were born in England, right? No? Don't they have like dry humor?
I was gonna say, you.
My excuse is I just don't care.
I'm so happy that it's coming this way.
All right, so what?
Wait, how do you save, can you save that? Is it just file?
Yep, so you would just do file, save as, and it would just be book one, whatever you want to save it, and save. And then it would be in that folder, Tableau files. So next week, we're gonna do 12 more of these reports. Basically, just like we did, very quick, easy. Then I'll show you the extra credit. So for the extra credit, there's 3 different things you could do. 2 of them, you just do one, because there's 2 parts. You get 100 points. The other 2, you'd have to do both of them, because there's 1 part. So you just do 1 to get 50, 1 to get 50. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, see everybody next week.
Gonna use this.
Yeah?